Matthew, who got the news just a few hours ago that his girlfriend is going to marry someone else. In this grief, he reached a cave, intoxicated with alcohol. This was the same cave where Matthew used to spend quality time with his girlfriend. But today he was alone. This silence was eating him from inside. That's why he broke the silence and said,
"After all, you have also turned out to be a slave of money, haven't you?
Huh?
Puh! This is the only drink which has been with me in both happiness and sorrow. I will forget to see you. I will forget you."
Drunk Matthew was still mumbling. Then suddenly, he heard a familiar voice.
Matthew.
Stacy, is that you?
Matthew. Come to me, Matthew.
Stacy, I knew that you two would not be able to live without me. Stacy, I'm coming to you.
And as soon as he said this, Matthew ran inside the cave, following a woman. As he passed through the thin layer of fog inside the cave, he reached the woman. So his senses got cold. He was standing in front of a witch. Matthew was frozen in the dark, seeing that power. And the very next moment, that black power cut his body into two pieces. His sorrow, his jealousy, all had said goodbye to this world. After death, Matthew's dead body was floating in two pieces in the pond of the cave. But with his blood, the color of the pond was not red, but started boiling black. 5 friends in the college cafeteria. Mary, Gary, Kylie, Peter, and Joy were chatting while drinking tea. Then one of them, whose name is Peter, silenced everyone and said,
"Guys, let's go somewhere on vacation this time. Last time also, the plan of Hawaii was cancelled."
Dude, Hawaii isn't even close. Don't you know my mom doesn't allow it?
Then how will be Las Vegas or Lancaster?
I have a better idea than that. Why not go camping in the Catalina Island? It is nearby, and we'll come back by Monday.
Everyone was happy to hear Peter's plan, except Joy, who was having some trouble. But seeing everyone happy and satisfied, he also agreed. The next afternoon, the 5 friends were enjoying in their camp by the side of a waterfall in the forest. Then Gary and Kylie saw a cave, whose way was hidden by 2 big banyan trees.
This cave looks secretive just by looking at it. If someone else would have been in my place, I would have said to get out of here soon. But I would say, why not spend the night here?
On this, Mary said excitedly,
Well, the idea is good. Let's light the fire quickly.
All agreed and say yes, but Joy refuses and said,
Staying here can be dangerous. Such caves can often be home to dangerous animals and bats that come out of hiding at night, and believe me, let's get out of here.
Everyone became calm after listening to Joy, and then started laughing immediately. Joy came to know that everyone is making fun of him.
What happened, Mr. Uncle? Feeling scared?
Joy, become a man and stop being afraid.
Hearing this, Joy tries to grab Gary's collar for a moment, but then leaves from there, clenching his teeth in anger. As the sun sets, the night becomes darker. Gary and Kylie went towards the waterfall to spend some time alone. And Peter also took advantage of the opportunity and went to Mary.
After completing the work, come inside the cave, Mary. I need to talk to you about something important.
Just coming.
Having said this, Peter went inside the cave and lit his cigarette with the lighter and waited for Mary. He had only been waiting for a few minutes when someone called him by his name.
Peter,
Mary, is it you?
come close to me, Peter.
As soon as Peter turned, he saw the shadow of a woman at some distance in the dark. The one who took off the scarf from her neck and threw it towards him, and took off the rest of the clothes from her body, and went inside the cave. Peter was also inciting his lust by smelling the clothes.
I knew Mary. You also love me. Come to me.
Peter, follow me.
Peter, who mistook it for Mary's love, started following her. After following Mary for some time, when he reached the end of the cave, there was no one there. He found this very strange, but believing it to be an illusion of his lust, when he turned to go back, all the blood in his body had dried up due to fear. He was standing in front of a witch, the one who cut Peter's body into 2 pieces in one blow and threw it in the pond. Gary and Kylie were sitting on the banks of the waterfall, having lost all interest in the world. They were kissing each other passionately. Suddenly, a familiar voice rang in Gary's ears.
Gary, my son.
Did you hear that?
What are you talking about, Gary?
Gary's son, come to me.
Mother is calling me. I have to go.
Gary, your mother is dead. Gary!
Gary started following the voice by getting carried away by emotions, and Kylie followed Gary. As soon as Gary reached inside the cave, he saw his mother in front of his eyes. But as soon as Gary reached near to touch his mother, in no time his mother turned into a dreaded witch, the one who killed Peter. Gary froze in fear on seeing the witch. Taking a lot of courage, he just said this with trembling lips.
Kylie, save me!
Kylie, who was following Gary, hearing such a scream of Gary, she trembled with fear. And to save her only love, she started running faster inside the cave. But at some distance she saw Gary. He was crawling in his own blood. Seeing his condition, Kylie somehow brought him out of the cave.
Who did this to you?
A wild wolf attacked me. Somehow I saved my life. We must leave before he comes here again.
Kylie was just taking out the injured Gary with support when her phone rang, on which Mary call was coming.
Mary quickly reaches the cave with Peter. Gary is badly injured.
What are you saying? Gary dead body is in front of me in the pond, inside the cave, and Peter is also missing for a long time.
But how is this possible? How can he die? He is here with...
As soon as Kylie turned and looked to her left, there was no one there. Gary had disappeared. But before she could understand anything, the witch said something softly, whispering in her ear.
If you hear a sound from behind in the forest, never look back.
As soon as she said this, that unknown energy dragged Kylie by her feet and took her into the darkness of the cave. On the other hand, Mary was listening to all this by crouching on the edge of a rock. Due to fear, she had frozen. Just then a hand came on Mary's shoulder, and Mary was about to scream due to the fear of death, when someone put a hand on her lips and said, by making her silent,
Mary, don't shout. I am Joy. Are you alright?
Someone killed Gary, and Kylie also with him. Someone also killed her. There's a murderer here. Call the police.
That murderer is not a common murderer, but an evil spirit, who has been wandering in this forest and cave for years. Her name is the Nishi Daak. As soon as it gets dark, she goes out to hunt. And often, calls her prey from behind, 3 times, in the voice of someone they know.
And those who answer foolishly.
Can't see the next day's sun.
But Joy, how do you know all this?
5 years ago, my brother Matthew also disappeared from here like this. After a lot of searching, I found only one of his arm, and a bottle of liquor was with it. So I never wanted to come here.
Our death is now certain. No one can save us now.
Never, till I am here. Take my hand and run with me to the bus camp. Just keep one thing in mind, if anyone calls you, don't turn around. Otherwise, you know the consequences very well.
As soon as he said this, Joy took Mary's hand and ran to get out of the cave maze. And when both reached the exit of the cave, they heard the sound of someone crawling. And this voice was none other than Kylie's, whose left arm was separated from her body. And the heel of the left foot was also bent.
Mary, Joy, save me. Or else, she will kill me. I can't bear this pain anymore.
The anguished voice of her friend could not be heard by Mary. Before she could turn, Joy pulled her hand and shouted,
This is not the Kylie we know. This is the same bloody, the Nishi Daak. Just walk from here without turning. This is the only way to survive.
On Joy's persuasion, Mary did not look back. Seeing both of them leaving, Kylie started crying bitterly. That's when the evil spirit started pressing Kylie's head with her foot and said while scratching her head with her nails,
If you hear a sound from behind, in the forest, never look back. Who knows if death is standing behind